Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rylie Lane, and if you are new here, please make sure to hit that little subscribe button down there and join our little fam here. Okay, it has been one hot minute since you have seen me sitting here recording a video. I don't know, I just really kind of lost motivation for a little while and I just wasn't feeling YouTube, but don't you worry gals, I am back and I am here for you. So this is a long time coming video. I get so many questions, so many Instagram DMs, and like I love helping you guys and I love letting you know all this information, but it gets a lot when I'm like repeating the same stuff to like all these different people. So here is the one video that I'll probably direct you to so many times if you are going to DM me about moving to London. So I'm basically just going to give you all of what my experience is with moving here and my thoughts and opinions on the easiest way to do things. And yeah, this definitely isn't the right way, but this is what's worked for me and I hope it works for you too. Anyways, sorry if I'm looking down. I've got all these notes on my phone because I want to make sure I cover everything without this being like a really long video. Already been speaking for a minute and a half, so let's get on to it. I'm just going to go through dot points. So when you first get here, you really need to set up like a whole bunch of things, and most of these things require an address. So one of the biggest things is if you know someone who lives over here, even if it's a friend of a friend or some sort of connection, ask if you can use their address. If you can get things sent to their house and you can go and pick them up if they're important letters or whatever, if you really need them, that will help you so much. Yeah, so when I was setting everything up, I was using my sublet address because we subletted when we first got here. So say when I went for my national insurance appointment, I used my sublet address for that, and then when I got sent my national insurance number, that gave me a proof of address. Even though I didn't technically live there, it's like kind of a good way to get around it. Then opening a bank account, boy oh boy is that hard, and I'm sorry that you have to go through that. My first suggestion would probably be to open a online bank account. I don't really know if they have a proper name, but basically banks like Monzo or I'm with Starling, I have found them to be the best online bank. You can easily open those bank accounts and all you need is a UK address. You don't need a proof of address. So again, if you have someone's address or a sublet address or something that you can use to send your card to, you can do that, and then that will give you an actual proof of address once you get your bank statements from that bank, and then you can go into a proper bank and open a bank account. For me, I did go around it a little bit differently. I originally opened a bank account with HSBC just because they would let me use my Australian license as proof of address, and my I don't know, like my address was actually in Australia even though it was a UK bank account. I think we were just really lucky and we got a few people who let us do that and kind of do a workaround. So that was how I got my first bank account. I think it was like within a week of being here, which was good, but otherwise definitely open an online bank account as like a starting point. And so then obviously, God, sorry, I'm realizing these are all kind of out of order, so I'm really sorry. So what I mentioned before was a national insurance number. You need to get a national insurance number, so all you do is find the number. I mean, I can even leave it in the description box down below, but it's off like the gov.uk website or whatever that website is. You just need to call them. I suggest calling when they very first open because otherwise the wait times can be really long, and you just make a appointment to go have your national insurance number checked. I can't remember exactly what you bring along, but you just need like your passport and your visa and a few things like that. It all has it on the website and it will tell you exactly what you need, and you just have to go to that appointment to get your national insurance number, and then I think it's like 6 weeks and then they send a letter out to you with your national insurance number. So that is so you can, like a tax file number like we have in Australia, and that's what your tax will go on, kind of thing. You can start working without that if you get a place that tells you you can't. So annoying, honestly. I was like in the middle of like accepting this job and they're like, oh, you don't have a national insurance number, and I had to do all these ridiculous things to get around it, and I was like, you can pay me without a national insurance number. Once you get one, they just like sort everything out after that. Anyways, so another thing you need to do when you first get here is pick up your BRP card. You will choose your location of where you want your BRP card sent when you're applying for your visa, like months ago when you're in your home country. I would suggest to just do it somewhere central, somewhere that's easy to get to. I got mine originally sent to King's Cross, and when it was ready I wasn't actually staying in King's Cross, but King's Cross is so easy to get to, so yeah, that was just why I kind of chose that location. One other thing with your BRP card is there's a certain amount of time after you arrive you can pick it up. I think it's like, I don't know, I can't remember. When did I get here? Maybe maybe it's like between 5 and 10 working days or something like that. It will tell you when you're applying for your visa. Just make sure you don't book a trip in between that time before you can pick up your VIP card, because then it's really hard to get back into the country because you don't have your visa to prove that you are meant to be living and working here. Just a little tip, because I know a few people have done that and it's been a little difficult for them. I mean, you will always get into the country as long as you have all your proof of your visa and stuff, but it's just a bit annoying. Okay, next thing I wanted to talk about was getting a job. This is probably a little bit of a hard thing for me to answer because I can only really talk from my experience and what my job is. You know, if you're coming over here and you're just wanting to work in a bar, literally find somewhere to live and find the bar down the street. You can get a job in a bar anywhere. You can basically walk in there and be like, I want a job, and any bar will pretty much give you a job. So if you're looking for that, don't even stress about it. Do it when you're here. Other types of jobs for me, like personally, I work in the fashion industry. Did try to go through a few recruiters, but they didn't really get me anywhere or didn't really help me that much. So I literally just applied straight to the companies through their like careers website and just applied for a bunch of those. Even LinkedIn was a really easy way to find jobs, and just went directly to the companies. I didn't really go through recruiters because they didn't really help me that much. I don't know if that's just in the fashion industry and in the merchandising area that I'm in, but that was my experience. Yeah, otherwise in terms of other jobs, I can't really speak because I don't really know. If you're going to be a teacher, I have a whole bunch of friends that are teachers. They go through agencies. One of the big ones is ANZ UK. They will help you out with so much with like moving over here and everything. They've honestly been such an amazing company, and I don't even work for them. And I've been to some of their events and stuff with my friends who are teachers, and like it's such a good company to work for. So if you're looking to be a teacher, you can even apply for that through Australia, because it is it's like Australia, New Zealand and the UK kind of company. So if you're going to be a teacher, it's super easy to get a job. If you want to be a supply teacher, if you want like a permanent position, yeah, I'd just say definitely go through an agency, because everyone I know has gone through agencies if they're coming here to teach. And yeah, I feel like that's all I can really say about a job. What's next? Finding somewhere to live. Boy, that's a bit of an annoying one. Yes, when I originally moved over here, I was moving with my friend Steph, that you would have seen in all my videos, and we just went directly through real estate agents, and we found our place that way because we were going in, me and her, like a whole lease just on our own. So if you are going to do that with friends, or you know other people who are looking to move into another lease, you can definitely go straight through a real estate agent or find new people who are moving over here to do that. It was super helpful. Like the real estate agents, we'd walk into one and be like, we want this, this, this and this, and they'd be like, yep, all right, get in their car, and would literally just drive us around all these different places. Otherwise, if you're looking for just a room in a place, which is what I did to move into this place here when I had to move out of the place I was living in with Steph, I personally found this room on Aussies in London, which is a Facebook group which I totally recommend you get into if you are moving over to London. They are so helpful. I mean, even if you're not Australian, I'm pretty sure there's so many people who aren't Australian in that group. There's just so many posts and everything. You can use a search tab and people answer so many questions. Anyways, every week there is a weekly flat post that people post like available rooms and stuff on there. So that's how I found this room, and I just or when I was flat hunting, I just messaged a whole bunch of people on Facebook and organised viewings at all the different places. Otherwise, the other option to go is Spare Room, which is just like a website, or there's an app, and people just put their advertisements up there and you just message them and stuff. It can be a little bit difficult. I probably was looking for about a month, which... Sorry, that's an ambulance. I was looking for about a month before I found this place, and sometimes you kind of have to give up things that you really, really wanted. For example, I live a tiny bit further out from central London than where I would prefer to live, but this is a really good house, really good like neighborhood, good like price of rent, and I really like my housemates, so I kind of like gave up the actual location. So yeah, but it can be a bit hard, and try not to get your hopes down. It's very competitive, but like if you just stick at it, you keep looking, I promise you'll find somewhere. But in the meantime, definitely try and get on like a sublet. Even we subletted for a few weeks. I think we had 2 sublets before we could move into our place for like a couple of weeks each. That's a really good way to work out your living situation when you first get here, and it's not too expensive because it's usually someone who's going away, and then they'll just let you pay their regular rent price. But definitely be patient when you're trying to look for a house, because it's not the funnest thing ever, but you definitely will find somewhere, I promise. Another thing I wanted to mention, which is something I didn't do that I wish I did, was register for a doctor. When I first got here, I waited like, I don't know, like 4 months or something, because I just was like, I don't need to go to the doctor, why do I need one? But my suggestion would be do it like as soon as you have a permanent place to live, because the doctor has to be in the area that you live in. Register for a doctor. It's not really that hard, you just got to fill out a few forms and you go in for like an appointment, and they, I don't know, they just like did my height, like my blood pressure and like my weight and stuff like that. And the reason I say this, even if you don't need to go to the doctor, is travel insurance companies. You need to be careful when you move over here, because you'll need to go through a UK based company, not an Australian company, and they often require you to have lived in the UK for 6 months and have been registered with a doctor for 6 months. So obviously there is a few companies that can get you around that. I can leave a link to the company that I used before I was here for 6 months. But the cheaper ones, like the ones that are really, really cheap for travel insurance, require the 6 months, living here in 6 months, registered with a doctor. And because I didn't do that, it took me longer than 6 months to be able to get travel insurance with any of those companies. So that's just something to think about, and make sure you always get travel insurance, because you never know what's going to go wrong. And travel insurance is really cheap here, so like if you're going to pay £5 to like potentially save hundreds of thousands of dollars if something like goes wrong, like just do it. Actually, while we're on the travel insurance topic, when you're coming over here, I see lots of people ask this question. You only need travel insurance to cover your flight over here. You don't need travel insurance while you're living here. If you're on a visa, you're covered by the NHS, which is like their medical care system, and if anything happens to you, you can go to the hospital and the doctors and stuff here, like depending on what it is. If it's an emergency thing, I don't think you pay anything. It's kind of like the healthcare we have at home, and that's why you also pay an NHS fee when you're applying for your visa, which covers all of that. So they do have healthcare here, and you don't need to have travel insurance while you're just living here. You need it just while you're traveling and for your flight over here. Hope that makes sense. Okay, one of the last things I wanted to talk about was transferring money. So obviously when you first get here, I just used my travel cards from back home until I got my bank account. And then once I got my bank account, I transferred money from Australia into my UK bank account before I was getting paid, and used that money for like just normal living expenses here, and also needed that money to be paying when I was moving into my flat for like my bond and my first month's rent and all of our bills and stuff before I was actually getting paid from work. So the best website, I personally think, and a lot of people have told me, is a website called TransferWise. They seem to have one of the best rates that I've seen, and their fees for transferring is quite low. That was what I used every single time I was transferring money from Australia, and it only ever really took 24 hours unless it was over a weekend, so they do definitely work to like bank days and working days. But if you're doing it like during the week, it only took 24 hours to get here, which I think is pretty good. So I'll leave a link to TransferWise down there if you need to use it. Yeah, it's really helpful, and it's really good to just have your money in pounds over here while you're like living here and spending your money. And you will need to do that when you need to pay your deposit and like all your rent and stuff for your house. Okay, so that's everything that I had notes on for right now. Honestly, there's like 5 million questions and I understand how confusing. Well, my memory card cut out, but I hope that I got the end of what I was saying. Ugh, if not, oh well. I don't even know where it cut out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. I hope that I answered all your questions. I love you all so much, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye!